it's Nick from Nick's Crossing. Welcome back to the train room here for another Nick's review. And today we're actually reviewing two of the largest locomotives in my entire collection. When combined, these locomotives create a 26-inch plus long set of just locomotives, no cars or anything. Also together, they equal a little over 8 pounds, which is crazy. And that is this AA set right here. This is the power unit. This is a Baltimore, Ohio E7A unit produced by Williams. And these are scale pieces, and we'll get into all of those stats and a little bit about the E7A units right here. So all aboard, here we go. All right, everyone. So the E7 was a 2,000 horsepower diesel electric locomotive produced by the General Motors Elctro-motive Division of LaGrange, Illinois. 428 A units, or E7As, were built from 1945 to April 1949, and 82 booster E7B units were built from 1945 to 1948. Now, there are actually very similar variations to this E unit, or E7, because EMD actually produced 8 different selling E model units. Now, these are considered the best-selling passenger diesel locomotive that EMD had ever produced. Each locomotive was 71 feet long, with a height of 14 feet and 11 inches. Each locomotive would also produce 56,000 pounds of starting tractive effort. The Baltimore, Ohio actually owned 18 E7A units and 0 E7B units. The numbering system was starting at 64, and then they also said A-80-A, even numbers only. And that explains why our diesels here are numbered 72 and 66. So here's the catalog entry from Williams, 2008 catalog with the E7 offerings. And for this entry, it looks like they offered the Atlantic Coastline, Baltimore and Ohio, Burlington, Chesapeake and Ohio, New York Central, Pennsylvania, Southern, Union Pacific, Milwaukee Road, and Texas Special. Each set also looks like it includes a powered A unit, an unpowered A unit as well, known as a dummy unit, and completing a dummy unit set. Everyone, here is the front of the power unit, number 66. I have the cab lights on right now, and they do vary with voltage. They don't have a voltage circuit in there to keep your lights at the same brightness, but we do have the classic B&O plate up front. We have an operating coupler, little plow down here. It's part of the die cast frame, so if anything hits that, it shouldn't hurt anything. We have marker lights up front. We do have a Mars light up top. This engine was famous for having different style lights for the headlight or marker lights. You could either turn it into a Mars light or some type of other signal lamp. It's really cool to see that. Up top we have 2 ornamental horns, also tons of riveting on the top you guys will see, and not to forget the die cast trucks with little ladder down there. Right here you do have an EMD builder plate, which I can get a better look at on the side of the locomotive. Here's your cab door. It's all stamped in there. You have handrails coming down that are made of metal. Here's your EMD builder's plate right here. Tons of riveting going down this locomotive. And the vents, like this vent right here, also the one beside it, these are see-through vents. So if you look through the locomotive, you can actually see through to the other side, just like the actual E7 locomotive. If we go down a little bit further, there we go. See, we have other venting here. Forgot to mention the fuel cell has the little red fill-up markers here. You can also see where it says like fill right here. It's amazing, little details like that into this engine. I believe this is for the sand or water fill. Same with the front. Pretty amazing right there. You also see number 66 stamped in here, and also more venting all over this locomotive. Now, number 72 is exactly the same as 66. Here's a top view of the locomotive going right to left. All the detailing up there, vents that actually are actual vents, pretty amazing. There's a smokestack back there, and going all the way down to the other locomotive. Alright everyone, So, Model Toy Trains actually reviewed an earlier production run of this Williams set. And they said that it was a great runner. You could actually pull up to 25 cars, new and old, mixing up some post-war and newer stuff. And it still hit over 100 miles an hour scale speed. Pretty impressive. They did critique on the windows. They said that the earlier variation had porthole windows instead of the sliding windows or squared up windows. Not really a big deal. This one actually does have the slide windows, so it's more prototypically correct. They also said that the scale length was 11 inches shorter. So if they shrunk you down to a little O-scale person and put you in this scene, the engine would be 11 inches shorter. So like literally like that. So not a big deal with that, but I believe they did correct that. So maybe Williams read this, then came out with their reissue pretty much, or fixing mistakes and things like that. Alright guys, so that article did say that this locomotive would work on O31 turns. I highly doubt it, but we can try it up on the top loop. So here we go. It's gonna be kind of scary, but if you think like your engine can't handle O31 turns, don't do it, because there are parts and wires and all kinds of things that are in here. You might be putting them under tension. They can rip and pull, especially those tethers between your tender and your steam engine. And yes, I'm aware this is a diesel locomotive, but if you get to scale pieces like my B&O Hudson back there that have a very fragile tender tether, that will break and break down, and then you'll have to put in a whole new set of wiring, and it is such a pain. So always be mindful of your turn radiuses and make sure you don't destroy your own toy and model trains. So here we go with that test. It'll be the one and only time I ever run this on O31. So here we go. All right, guys, I don't know about this. This looks pretty sketchy. Oh my God, it's doing it. All right, let's go the other way. Yeah, that is not happy. So, like I said before, if you don't think you can do it, don't do it. I mean, look at this. And I think the motor in the front of this is actually off its mount. That's why you heard that noise. And it's probably from the previous owner running it on O31. So yeah, don't do that. She likes the O42, and that's usually the minimum requested or recommended curve for some of these larger locomotives. So normally I would do the switch test in my videos right about now, but this locomotive likes to take out my signal bridge because the overswing from the rear of the first locomotive. That's not a problem because these engines actually tackle switches very, very well. The only concern is that if you're not drawing enough amperage and you're running your switches off your track power, sometimes it does not trigger the automatic solenoid. The other concern is that as soon as you apply power to the track, this engine goes into forward. So that's just one thing to be mindful of if you're running Williams trains or thinking about purchasing a Williams locomotive. This engine also features the Sound Blast horn and bell. Unfortunately, this locomotive does not have any diesel sounds, but I would love to upgrade this locomotive, possibly put that in the dummy A unit, put a nice sounding diesel, maybe like a diesel sounds package, something like that, or get something off of the Electric Railroad Company online and install that in this locomotive. But here's the horn. So you do not have a selection on what style horn. It's you push the horn button and there you go. Now also the bell. That's all you get for the bell, but it does run continuously. And it shuts off immediately. So not the most desirable sounds, but this engine is so beautiful, I think it deserves an upgrade for sure. So here we go, everyone, all aboard. Alright everyone, that's going to conclude this Nick's review of my beautiful B&O E7AA set from Williams 2008 catalog. It's such a great running set, and it is a smooth rider. You can actually have this thing on really slow, doesn't create a lot of noise, just like some of my other pieces from Williams. They run very quiet. But anyways, if you guys are new to the channel, always consider subscribing. Make sure you hit that bell for all so you don't miss reviews just like this. Also, by giving the video a like and a comment, really helps out the channel. Until next time everyone, happy railroading. See ya.